If you feel lost right now, if your life feels confusing, silent, and uncertain, listen carefully to this truth. Just because you cannot see God moving does not mean he has stopped working. Some of the greatest things God does in our lives happen behind the scenes. There are seasons when heaven feels quiet. Prayers seem unanswered. Doors stay closed, and your path feels dark. But what feels like silence to you is often preparation by God. The same God who created the universe is still writing your story, and while you may feel forgotten, he is arranging things you cannot yet see. Key point one, God works in the silence. There are moments in life when everything feels quiet. Not peaceful quiet, but confusing quiet. The kind of silence where you are praying, hoping, waiting, yet nothing seems to change. You ask God for direction, but the answers don't come the way you expected. Days pass, weeks pass, sometimes even years pass, and it feels like heaven has gone silent. In those moments, many people begin to believe something is wrong. They start wondering if God has forgotten them, if their prayers are not being heard, or if their faith is not strong enough. But the truth is far deeper and far more powerful than that. Just because you cannot hear God speaking loudly does not mean he has stopped working. In fact, some of the greatest things God does in a person's life happen in the quiet seasons. Silence is uncomfortable for us because we live in a world that constantly demands visible results. We want progress we can measure. We want doors that open immediately. We want answers that appear quickly. When we do not see those things, we assume nothing is happening. But God does not operate according to our sense of urgency. God operates according to purpose, and purpose takes time to develop. While you're looking for movement around you, God is often doing his deepest work within you. There are things that cannot be built in a moment. Character cannot be formed overnight. Faith cannot be strengthened without being tested. Patience cannot grow unless it is stretched. The quiet seasons are often the very moments when God is shaping the parts of you that will sustain the future he has prepared for you. You may feel like you are standing still, but inside you something powerful is developing. Your perspective is changing. Your resilience is growing. Your trust in God is becoming deeper and more mature. Think about a seed planted in the ground. When a farmer plants a seed, he does not see immediate results above the soil. For a while, it looks like nothing is happening. The ground looks the same as it did before. But beneath the surface, something extraordinary is taking place. Roots are beginning to grow. Strength is forming where no one can see it. The seed is preparing itself to break through the soil and reach the light. If someone judged the process only by what was visible, they might think the seed had failed. But the truth is the seed is doing exactly what it was created to do. Your life often follows the same pattern. When God is preparing you for something meaningful, he begins with the unseen parts. He develops your foundation before he reveals your future. Because if the foundation is weak, the blessings that come later cannot stand. Many people pray for greater opportunities, greater influence, greater success, but they underestimate the preparation required to carry those things with wisdom and humility. God knows the way to the future he has planned for you, and he prepares you for it long before it arrives. This is why the silent seasons are not empty seasons. They are building seasons. While you feel uncertain about where you are going, God is strengthening who you are becoming. He is teaching you lessons that will guide you later. He is revealing truths that will protect you in the future. He is developing endurance so that when challenges come, you will not collapse under pressure. Sometimes God removes distractions during these quiet seasons. Things that once occupy your attention begin to fade away. Certain relationships change. Certain paths close. Certain plans fall apart. At first, this can feel painful or confusing, but often it is part of God clearing space in your life. When too many voices compete for your attention, it becomes difficult to hear the voice that truly matters. The quiet seasons help you rediscover what is important and realign your focus toward what truly has meaning. Silence also creates the space where faith can grow stronger. Faith is not built when everything is obvious. Faith grows when you continue trusting even when you do not understand the full picture. It grows when you keep walking forward even though the path ahead is not completely clear. It grows when you hold on to hope despite the uncertainty surrounding you. Anyone can believe when everything is working perfectly. The quiet seasons, you might look at your current situation and wonder why progress feels slow. You might feel like others are moving ahead while you remain in the same place. It can be tempting to compare your journey to someone else's timeline. But comparison is dangerous because it blinds you to the unique process God is using in your life. Every person's preparation is different. Every story unfolds in its own time. Just because someone else's path appears faster does not mean yours is. Behind your journey is being shaped according to a purpose that only God fully understands. The quiet seasons also reveal what truly lives inside your heart. When everything is easy, it is simple to feel confident and secure. But when life becomes uncertain, deeper questions begin to surface. What do you truly believe? What do you truly value? What are you willing to hold on to even when circumstances become difficult? These questions may feel uncomfortable, but they are necessary. They refine your priorities and strengthen your inner foundation. During these times, God often teaches you to depend on him in ways you never had to before. When other sources of stability disappear, you begin to realize that your ultimate security does not come from circumstances, achievements, or recognition. It comes from your relationship with God. That realization changes everything. Instead of being controlled by what happens around you, you begin to develop a deeper peace within you. Many people look back later in life and recognize that their most difficult seasons were also their most transformative ones. The moments when they felt most lost were often the moments when God was guiding them toward a path they never would have discovered on their own. What once felt like confusion eventually revealed itself as redirection. What once felt like silence eventually revealed itself as preparation. So if you find yourself in a season where everything feels quiet, do not assume that nothing is happening. Do not mistake God's silence for absence. He has not forgotten you. He has not abandoned your story. He is working in ways that cannot always be seen immediately. He is shaping your character, strengthening your faith, and building a foundation strong enough to support the future ahead. The silence you are experiencing today may actually be the place where your greatest growth is taking place. It may be the moment when God is doing his most careful work in your life. Just like the seed developing unseen beneath the soil, something powerful may be forming inside you right now. And when the time is right, when the preparation is complete, what has been developing quietly will eventually rise into the light. Key point 2, what feels like delay is often divine preparation. There are seasons in life when it feels like everything is moving slower than it should. You have dreams in your heart, goals you want to reach, prayers you have whispered over and over again. You believe in what God can do, yet the progress you hope for seems delayed. Doors you expected to open remain closed. Opportunities you thought would appear never arrive. And slowly a question begins to grow inside your mind. Why is this taking so long? Delays can be frustrating because we naturally want things to happen quickly. We live in a world where speed is celebrated. Everything around us is designed for instant results, instant communication, instant answers, instant success stories. When something happens important in our lives takes longer than expected, it can feel like we are falling behind. We begin to wonder if we missed our moment or if the opportunity has already passed us by. But what often feels like a delay from our perspective is actually a period of preparation from God's perspective. What we call waiting, God calls shaping. What we call slowing down, God calls building a stronger foundation. The truth is that timing matters just as much as opportunity. Before you are ready to handle it, it can create more problems than blessings. Imagine giving someone a responsibility they are not prepared to carry. At first, it may feel exciting, but eventually the weight becomes overwhelming. Without the necessary wisdom, maturity, and strength, even a great opportunity can turn into pressure that breaks a person instead of elevating them. God understands this better than we do. He sees the full picture of your future, including the challenges that will come with the blessings you are praying for. That is why he often chooses to prepare you first before releasing what you have been asking for. Preparation is not always comfortable. It stretches you in ways that reveal your weaknesses and push you to grow beyond them. You may face situations that test your patience. You may encounter obstacles that require resilience. You may walk through moments where your confidence feels shaken. But these experiences are not random. They are shaping the kind of strength that will be required later. Think about how a builder prepares the foundation for a large structure. Before the building ever rises into the sky, there is a long process happening beneath the surface. The ground must be measured, reinforced, and stabilized. Materials must be carefully placed to ensure that the structure will stand strong for years to come. To someone passing by, it might look like slow progress. They might wonder why nothing impressive has appeared yet. Know something important: if the foundation is rushed, the entire building becomes vulnerable. God often works in the same way with our lives. Before the visible success appears, before the breakthrough happens, before the doors open wide, he strengthens the unseen foundation. He develops your discipline, your character, your humility, and your ability to handle pressure. These qualities may not look impressive from the outside, but they are essential for sustaining what is ahead. Many people focus only on the moment of arrival, the promotion, the recognition, the breakthrough, the dream becoming reality. But what they often overlook is the journey that prepared them for that moment. The years of growth, the quiet seasons of learning, the challenges that shaped their perspective. Those experiences were not obstacles to their success. They were the very things that made success sustainable. When you are in a season of delay, it can be tempting to become discouraged. You might start comparing your progress with others around you. You might see someone else achieving what you hoped for and feel like your chance has been taken. Comparison, however, is one of the quickest ways to lose sight of God's unique plan for your life. Every person's journey unfolds differently because every purpose requires a different kind of preparation. Your timeline does not have to match someone else's timeline in order to be meaningful. What matters is that your path is leading you toward the purpose God designed specifically for you. The preparation you are going through may be exactly what you need to carry that purpose with strength and integrity. Delays also teach patience, and patience is a powerful form of strength. In a culture that constantly pushes for immediate results, learning to wait with faith is rare. Patience allows you to remain steady even when circumstances feel uncertain. It gives you the ability to trust that something meaningful is developing even when you cannot yet see the outcome. During these waiting seasons, God often teaches lessons that could not be learned any other way. You may discover new abilities within yourself. You may gain wisdom from experiences that challenge your assumptions. You may develop empathy and understanding that help you connect with others more deeply. These lessons become valuable tools that shape how you handle the opportunities that will eventually come. Another important part of preparation is alignment. The delay you experience is not only about preparing you eat, it's also about aligning the right circumstances, the right people, and the right opportunities at the right time. There are connections that have not yet been made, doors that have not yet opened, and situations that are still unfolding behind the scenes. God sees how these pieces fit together in ways we cannot yet understand. If the opportunity arrived before those elements were in place, the outcome might not be as powerful or as lasting as it could be. The delay allows everything to come together in a way that creates the greatest impact. What feels like waiting on your side may actually be a process of alignment happening beyond your view. It is also important to remember that preparation does not mean you are stuck. Growth is happening even when progress seems slow. Every challenge you overcome is building resilience. Every lesson you learn is expanding your perspective. Every step you take in faith is strengthening your trust in God's guidance. One day, the moment you've been waiting for will arrive. The door will open, the opportunity will appear, the breakthrough you prayed for will finally take shape. And when that moment comes, you may look back at the delays that once frustrated you and realize something surprising. Those delays were not barriers standing in your way. They were the very process that made you ready for the life ahead. You will recognize that the patience you developed helped you stay grounded. The challenges you faced made you stronger. The lessons you learned gave you wisdom you would not have gained otherwise. Without that preparation, the blessing might have arrived too early and slipped through your hands. So if you find yourself in a season where progress feels slower than expected, do not lose heart. Do not assume that your prayers have been ignored or that your dreams are out of reach. The delay you are experiencing may actually be a sign that something important is being prepared in your life. Trust that God understands the timing of your journey better than anyone else. He knows when you are ready. He knows when the right moment has arrived. And when that moment comes, the blessing will not just appear. Suddenly, it will fit perfectly into the life you have been prepared to carry. Until then, keep growing. Keep learning. Keep trusting the process even when it feels difficult. Because what feels like a delay today may actually be the preparation that allows your future to stand strong tomorrow. Key point 3, your story is not finished yet. There are moments in life when you look around and feel completely uncertain about where you are going. The path that once seemed clear suddenly feels confusing. Plans you believe to begin to fall apart. Opportunities disappear, relationships change, and the future that once felt certain now looks unfamiliar. In those moments, it is easy to believe that something has gone wrong with your story. It can feel as if the direction of your life has been lost and you are standing in the middle of a chapter that no longer makes sense. When people feel this way, they often begin to believe that they have reached the end of their opportunity. They think they have missed their moment, made too many mistakes, or taken too many wrong turns. The feeling of being lost can make the future seem smaller and more uncertain than it truly is. But feeling lost does not mean your story is finished. In many cases, it simply means that you are in the middle of a chapter that has not yet revealed its purpose. Stories are rarely meaningful because everything happens perfectly from beginning to end. The most powerful stories are filled with unexpected turns, difficult moments, and seasons where the outcome is unclear. Those moments create growth, depth, and transformation. Without them, the story would be simple, but it would also lack the power to change anyone's life. Your life is not meant to be a straight line from one success to another. It is a journey filled with lessons, challenges, discoveries, and moments that shape the person you are becoming. When you are in a season where you feel lost, it does not mean you are failing. Often it means you are being redirected towards something you could not yet see. Sometimes God allows certain doors to close because the path behind those doors was never meant to be your final destination. At the time, it can feel painful and confusing. You may question why. Something you hoped for did not work out. You may wonder why an opportunity disappeared after you invested your time and energy into it. But what feels like rejection can often be protection or redirection. There are paths that seem promising in the moment, but would lead you away from the purpose that was truly meant for your life. God sees those outcomes long before we do. When he closes a door, it is not always because you were unworthy of the opportunity.
Sometimes it is because something
greater is waiting further ahead, and that closed door is guiding you toward it. Feeling lost also has a way of forcing you to slow down and reflect. When everything is moving quickly and life feels predictable, it is easy to follow routines without deeply thinking about where those routines are leading. But when the direction of your life becomes uncertain, you begin to ask deeper questions. What truly matters to you? What kind of person do you want to become? What kind of impact do you want? Your life to have on others? These questions can be uncomfortable, but they are also powerful. They help you reconnect with your purpose and align your actions with what truly has meaning. The season that feels confusing may actually be the season that leads you to discover a clearer and more authentic direction for your life. It is also important to understand that progress does not always look the way we expect it to look. Many people assume that progress means constant forward movement, visible achievements, and steady growth. But sometimes progress happens through reflection, learning, and inner transformation. Even when your external circumstances feel uncertain, internal growth can still be taking place. Every challenge you face teaches you something about resilience. Every disappointment reveals something about your strength. Every unexpected change forces you to adapt in ways that expand your perspective. These experiences may not feel like progress while you are living through them, but they are shaping the person who will step into the next chapter of your life. There is also a powerful truth about difficult seasons. They often reveal abilities you did not know you possessed. When everything is comfortable, you may never discover how strong you truly are. But when life becomes challenging, something deeper begins to emerge. Courage appears when fear tries to hold you back. Determination rises when obstacles stand in your way. Hope begins to grow even when circumstances seem uncertain. These qualities are not created by easy moments. They are developed in the very seasons when you feel lost and unsure. And once they are developed, they become part of the strength you carry with you into the future. Another important thing to remember is that being lost is often temporary. Just because you do not see the full path right now does not mean the path does not exist. Sometimes clarity arrives step by step rather than all at once. You may only see the next step in front of you rather than the entire journey ahead. But taking that one step with faith can slowly reveal the direction you were searching for. Think about someone walking through a dark night with only a small light in their hand. That light may not illuminate the entire road, but it shows enough to take the next step safely. As they continue moving forward, the light reveals more of the path ahead. In the same way, God often provides guidance one step at a time. Revealing the entire future at once, he gives you enough direction to keep moving forward. Looking back on life, many people realize that the moments when they felt most lost were actually the turning points that led them toward their true purpose. The job they did not get opened the door to a career they never expected. The relationship that ended made space for deeper connections later. The challenge that seemed overwhelming became the experience that taught them their greatest lessons. In the middle of those moments, it is difficult to see the purpose, but with time and reflection, the pattern begins to appear. What once felt like confusion becomes part of a larger story that makes sense. Your story is still unfolding. The chapter you are living right now may feel uncertain, but is not the final chapter. There are still opportunities ahead that you have not yet discovered. There are still people you will meet, experiences you will have, and strengths you will develop that will shape the future in ways you cannot yet imagine. Even the setbacks you face today can become the foundation for future victories. The lessons you learn now can guide your decisions later. The resilience you build today can give you the courage to pursue opportunities you might once have been afraid to chase. So if you feel lost right now, remind yourself that the journey is not over. This moment is not the conclusion of your story. It is simply a chapter in a larger narrative that is still being written. The confusion you feel today may eventually lead to clarity. The challenges you face today may prepare you for victories tomorrow. Keep moving forward with faith, even when the direction feels uncertain. Continue growing, learning, and trusting that your life still holds purpose and possibility.